And here we go. Here we go. It's time. I'm excited for you guys to hear this one. This dude has energy. Like, there's no one else in comedy that has the energy he does. It took me 3 or 4 days to chase him down, but he's always so good to me. Once I got him, I knew he could talk to me for 5 hours if he needed to. I love this dude. He is a Vegas comedy legend. He's a Comedy Store legend. He's just a legend to all of us comics. And I'm so happy that the world is starting to notice what a great job he's doing with everything. So check out his Tinfoil Hat podcast and check this out. We're gonna call him right now. Let's call my boy Sam Tripoli. Yo, what up, dude?
What up, dude?
What you doing? Just driving through Clipperland?
Driving through Clipperland, dude, basking in the glow of the sun that is Kawhi Leonard.
Man, they look sweet the other night.
Dude, I made a prediction, and people call me crazy. I think they win over 70 games.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy, but they do look good, though.
Well, Denver's good, too, dude. Denver, did they end up winning last night? I can't remember.
Yeah, they won, and then tomorrow's opening night here against Phoenix, so I'm gonna go see how good they are. But, yeah, the Clippers, I love watching the Clippers play.
I think it's going to be Denver versus Clippers in the Western Conference. Of course, I got to give it to my Clippers, but,
yeah,
you know, I think they're good. It's incredible that Jokic made it to the second round. That might be the greatest draft steal of all time.
Yeah, he's so. Have you seen him at a Clipper game yet?
I haven't watched him, but I mean, dude, he is old school good.
Dude, live, he is just so big and and it's crazy because he has these two big brothers that just look like they're still in the mob that come to the games, and they're just humongous. And I don't know if you've ever seen these videos when they try to fight like the other team in the tunnel. If you want a good rabbit hole to go down, just look up Jokic's brothers, and then like if anyone talks shit to him,
try to fight the other team.
They're huge. His one brother is just huge, and he's all tatted up, and he wears like big rings on each finger. He's like scary big. But yeah.
And what do they do? Are they just some kind of third world mob?
Yeah, that's I'm allegedly. I don't want. I have no idea, but they are humongous and just and they're nice to the crowd. But I was at the Game 7 when they lost last year to Portland, and they were not happy. And they're just big brothers that are very protective of their very huge badass brother.
Oh yeah, dude. He could have played in the 80s.
Yeah, he's dope. It should be a good season. All right, dude.
It'll be a great season.
Yeah, I'm just excited it's here. All right, let me ask you couple quick questions here. We got some new ones for you. What is the time you made your parents the most mad?
What was the time I made my parents the most mad?
Uh-huh.
That's probably, my dad liked it. I mean, when I decided to move to Vegas right out of high school, I'm sure they weren't happy with that at all. When I probably got accused of ripping off his gas station that I didn't do it, they knew I was going to college. So they blamed me because I think the manager was jacking cash,
uh-huh.
and he knew I was going to Vegas for college, and he blamed me because he knew I'd have to. I couldn't deal with stuff real quick, so he blamed me for stealing money. And my dad's a crazy person who I love with all my heart. Like, he's a crazy person, but.
Uh-huh.
At that point, my dad, who just came in and just annihilated this district manager mentally, like mental jujitsu this dude, and basically got to admit it was probably the manager that was stealing everything. And you know why those motherfuckers are playing checkers? My dad was playing chess with them, but I'm sure they weren't happy about it at that moment.
Oh.
Also, probably when I asked my dad if I could sell his porno mags at school for mad cash.
Did you end up doing it, or he didn't like your?
No, I would just start stealing magazines and just like, because I used to fight all the time up until like 8th grade, and then we stopped fighting and it became mental jujitsu. Like, we would just like verbally destroy each other, and it's very interesting when you're young how like the things that affect you as a kid become some of your biggest strengths as an adult. And you don't realize it till later, and like my friends were all the first generation of where divorce came really susceptible, and their parents were all getting divorced and mentally shish kebabbed their brains. And so they became verbally very abusive, and we stopped fighting, and we just started annihilating each other. And we would sit in this one place called Pontillo's. It was a local pizza place our friend's dad owned, and there was this one booth where if you sat in this particular seat, you would just get verbally destroyed. And so I just learned to do that. But there was also kids bigger than me that wouldn't put up with the verbal destruction and would just want to go nuts. So I realized I could bribe people with pornography and candy. So I would just loot this place. I was looting this motherfucker. And I would just be like paying these kids in like back when porno mags were pristine, you know, Black Judge magazine, Cherry, you know, the classics, clean, not just like, you know, like thrown together shit. Like these were hot top and pornography, and I would steal it and then just hand it to all the bullies and say, hey, that dude's fucking with me, and they would go fuck them up, and that's how I was not getting my ass kicked.
I love it. Who is there a comedian now that can kind of bust balls on that level with you that you can talk shit with, or do you find yourself just burying everybody?
Well, I mean, like, I talk shit with everybody. Like, I got to handle some people. You know, it's like when Brody was still with us, I realized I couldn't, like bust his balls. He just wasn't a guy who could do that with. But, you know, my friend like Gareth Reynolds, I do it with him all the time, dude. And he's the best. You know, Ryan Sickler's the best at that. I always bust his balls. You know, there's some guys. But then there's some dudes I can't do any ball busting with, and I have a weird power dynamic with, in particular, like Joe Rogan and Bill Burr. I have just this weird power dynamic that I get really tight around them. And there's nothing they do. It's almost like, you know, when elephants are babies, man, they put like these ropes around the baby's elephant's legs, and the baby elephant can't get away. And so when it grows older, it still thinks it can't get away from that rope. So like when I knew these dudes, and you know, Bill was coming up, but Rogan was always big when I knew him, but I was like an open micer. Not that I'm anything today. I mean, I'm blessed. I'm doing much better, but it's like, you know, I'm still not like, you know, a multi-bazillionaire like they are. But I still have that mental, that mindset. And I always get really tight around them. And it's like, it's the most awkward shit because they're the nicest dudes. And, you know, sometimes I drive Rogan nuts. But it's mostly because I just tighten up. And anytime I make a mistake, it's like I make it into the biggest thing in the world because the dudes help me so much. Like, there was times where, like, I couldn't get anything going in my life. And Rogan doing my live shows was the only ways I could pay my bills. So, I got a combination of, like, an incredibly huge ego, but also beyond super sensitive. I call it King Baby. You know, I'm like King Baby, you know, where it's like I have this giant ego, but I'm completely insecure at the same time. So it's like this weird shit with them. So yeah, I can bust some balls, but some dudes I clam up real hard. It's like really weird.
That makes sense. Well, speaking of that, who in life have you met that made you the most nervous?
I don't know, man. I met Maynard from Tool one time, and that was like, I'm like, oh my God, it's Maynard from Tool. And my friend who was, you know, we were all Vegas, we were all knuckleheads, but I think if we had to vote who was the biggest knucklehead, we would have voted was this guy. And he goes, hey, so Maynard comes up, and it was our friend Pyro Pete, who was doing his name was Pyro Pete. His name is Pyro Pete. And he does all the pyrotechnics for these giant bands. Like he does all the boom, 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 booms, you know. And he got us backstage to meet Tool. And so Maynard comes in the back, and Maynard's walking around with his kid, and he's just meet everybody. And so Maynard came up to us. He's like, hey, guys, thanks for coming to the show. My friend's like, was Bill Hicks as cool in person as he is on comedy? He's like, yep. And then just walked away. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker, dude. The funniest, weirdest thing. Okay, so here's another story. So I just started comedy in Las Vegas, and a friend of mine named Barry. Okay, I shouldn't say Barry's name because I have this other story, but I won't tell that story out here. But Barry's a wonderful person. Barry was working as a VIP concierge at Caesars. And I just started doing stand-up, right? And Barry was a friend of mine, and she had gotten 2 tickets to go see Howie Mandel. So she's like, and we can go backstage and meet him. I set it up. I'm like, oh, my God, I get to meet Howie Mandel. And so she gets us the tickets, and, it's like, this is back when I would go watch comics.
Uh-huh.
I can't now. I like to work. I can't even watch my friends' specials anymore because I just don't want to get influenced. So I just do my own shit. But we go watch Howie Mandel, and he was so fucking funny. Like, he's the exact opposite of me. Not that I'm not funny, but like he just wants to make you laugh. It's like Chris Lee is like that. Chris is just there to have a good time. Me, I'm here for the blood and the tears. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to bring the pain. I don't know why. It's just who I am. But Howie Mandel is so funny. He had this great bit about how he would he liked to go to his wife's house. He liked to go to the mall with his wife, and they would go to the makeup counter, and he would rub his fingers in the makeup, and then he would go and touch his wife's face about how much he loves her, and her face would end up looking all clown makeup-y. And I ended up doing that one time to my girlfriend Jackie at the time. I just lit her face up. So I just couldn't stop laughing at that. So anyways, Barry's like, come on, let's go meet him. So we go down these escalators, man, and I put my hand on the black rubber. And I don't pay attention to that at the moment. So we get in there, and I have an itch on my face, so I kind of touch my face up, and so Howie Mandel comes out, and he comes out, and Barry's like, this is Sam. He's one of my friends. He's a comic. And Howie Mandel looks at my face in just fear and runs back into the bathroom. I'm like, what the fuck is this motherfucker? I'm like, this dude is, what the fuck? So he runs. I'm like, dude, let's go. Fuck this guy. So we go back. We go up the escalators. There's a mirror on the side. I look in the mirror. I have giant smudges all over my face from the black rubber, where I look like a Native American on peyote, just trying to put on his. I mean, that Howie Mandel is a germaphobe. Yeah. So I just must have freaked him the fuck out with all this black all over my face.
That's funny. Well, thinking back to what was your first crazy Vegas night? Or the craziest one that you would remember, the one that sticks out, like when you're like, fuck, I'm a long way from home.
I mean, the whole thing about going to Vegas was so fucking funny because, I went to Vegas because I wanted to be a comedian. And I thought Vegas would be a great place to go to. And like today it is. Today's there's so much stage time in Vegas. But when I started, there wasn't. It was like one open mic every other week. And then I started just building all my own comedy spots. So we had a spot every night to go up. And it was like, there were 2 camps. There was the Joe Coy camp, and then there was the Sam Tripoli camp. And that was all my fault because I was a little egotistical, fucking crazy person, It is what it is. So,
Wait, are you and Joe Coy friends now?
Yeah, we're cool.
Was it that bad? No one knows that Joe Coy even did stand up in Vegas, as a guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know it till you told me. And then when I was doing stand up in Vegas, I would tell people that. They're like, no, fucking Joe Coy never did stand up here. I was like, Sam told me he used to do big shows. Yeah.
He kind of moved quickly. I mean, Joe Coy's where he is because Joe was always very funny. I mean, in my opinion, Joe Coy was kind of an outlier of the stand-up scene because one thing I always liked about Vegas comedy for a long time was about how dark and edgy it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe was kind of like what Joe is now, which is like, you know, in that Chris D'Elia, Howie Mandel thing. He just wants to make you laugh. And I love that too. I love the spectrum of comedy. And so, you know, it's like, you know, whereas for the longest time, Vegas was very like edgy and dark. You know, Doug Stanhope kind of godfather than me. And then, you know, Pyro Pete to you and Gooch and all those dark shit, you know. Like, I love that. Now, I think Vegas is starting to get into hacky ethnic comedy, and it's kind of starting to upset me watching what's going on there, where I know everybody's act as they're walking up to the stage.
Yeah.
I can already tell you what they're going to talk about. You know, maybe I'm from a different time, but for the longest time, comedy out in Vegas was like dark.
Yeah.
It was Vegas was very interesting because it was literally an isolated island of comedy.
Yeah, for sure. It was
just never made it out of there.
No. Well, and all the strip clubs didn't care about the locals, so you were on an island even in Vegas.
Yeah, we could never. So when like Joe Coy was the first one to work comedy clubs, and then I worked it after that, and then I got to get. You know, like what I decided to leave after I had like my own show weekly on the Strip. I was doing the Dirty Show for Steve Tripoli at the Riviera, and then I had the Mutiny in all these different comedy clubs. I mean, all these different all these different casinos. I forget the name of the brand of the casino, but it was like in all these different casinos. So I kind of peaked, but yeah, they were flying out. Like openers out of LA. They wouldn't let locals play there because we were so edgy. You know, I guess that's a good thing that kind of Joe Coy kind of helped change it a little bit. I just don't like how I know what everybody's act is in Vegas. But the moment I felt like I'd been like, where the you gotta understand something about me, man. I had 2 girlfriends in high school for like a week at a time. My parents probably thought I was gay because nobody wanted anything to do with me, ever. Because, like, when you're in high school, funny isn't sexy.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend of mine come up to me. She goes, if I didn't know you, I thought you were a retard. You know?
Yeah.
You know, to this day, through all of high school and all of college, I don't remember doing any homework at all, ever. I went to high school simply to be a stand-up, to get class clown. Like, I got in 6th grade, my goal was to get it in his senior year. That's all I cared about. And then I got, you know, and then I went to Vegas because my dad did this psyop on me, brainwashing that I should move to Vegas because he wanted to buy a house so he could write it off in his taxes and fly out there and gamble every month. And then, you know, I was a huge basketball fan, and I'm Armenian, and Jerry Tarkanian was the coach, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to Vegas. And I went to Vegas, and I got there, and like, dude, right out the gate, dude, I mean, it was chaos. Women, I mean, sex, dude, I remember I had my first threesome, and I called my friend from high school. I was like, dude, I'm about to fuck these 2 chicks at once. And that's where I'm like, this never happened in upstate New York where I was from. I mean, dude, I could not get laid in my hometown forever. But in Vegas, it was like every other day there was another chick. And I'm not even lying to you. Like, I sometimes wonder what it would be like to go to college at like Florida State, but still, like, Vegas was just insanity, dude. Insanity. I didn't know what last call was until like I was 26 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no. That's I always tell the Vegas story of walking outside and it's daylight and you're like, oh, what the fuck just happened?
Right?
But
I think Vegas' problem is starting to price itself out. You got these suits running. It's like everything, dude. You know when everyone's like, I'm not trying to get political, but they're like, Trump used to be the mafia, and I'd be like, you know what? I like the mob. Like when they ran fucking music, Vegas, movies, it was way better.
Yeah,
it's way better.
That's what I was just about to say. It's so corporate now. It's a very different Vegas.
They're going to run into the ground, and it's going to become a ghost town. I'm telling you. And people are going to be like, why am I going to go to Vegas when you just go to this Indian casino and make more money?
No, I agree. Well, the Dirty Show is like the legendary. I had some of my favorite nights of you putting me on the Dirty Show. What? Just to sum up the Dirty Show, can you just give one? Like, what
The
story?
Naughty Show.
I mean, the Naughty Show. I'm sorry.
Fuck. Normal kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I mean the Naughty Show. And do you do it anymore at all or no?
I do it. Yeah, we're about to restart it in downtown LA. It just, the Naughty Show started because I wanted a place where I could do my act, which was considered dirty at the time,
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody asked me, these two guys asked me to do the Vivid Video comedy tour. And I remember, like, I was driving out, I was going to be late for the Improv in Irvine. And they're like, dude, get here soon or else, bro, you're going to have to follow Bert Kreischer. And, like, I've been following Rogan, Eddie Griffin, all these people. So I'm like, dude, I'll follow Bert Kreischer. And I remember Bert was going up and crushing like Bert does. Like, Bert is probably one of the most underrated comics in the world today, for even as much as he has, you know. So and I went up and I remember I just crushed. And I go, okay, this is my crowd. And that's kind of, I've always been about producing my own show. So I worked with those guys for a long time, and then they just stopped doing it. So after a couple months, I started seeing all these other porno comedy shows, and I was like, okay, I should start this on my own. And I thought, yeah, I'm gonna get all these live porn stars to do, because I want to go somewhere where I can do dirty comedy and not have people's heads explode.
Yeah.
So I go, how can I keep the people who who don't like dirty comedy, how can I keep them away? And I go, oh, dude, we'll just throw porn stars on there. So I started just doing all these shows, and then it just became this like fucking dirty variety show, and we were doing like sketches and scenes, and so the early comedy, the early Naughty Show, there will never be better shows than that.
No.
Like, because I got all the biggest names to do it. Like, when I got Belladonna, I got Tara Patrick, and then I got Tara Patrick, I got Jenna Hayes, and then it became something where these porn stars felt they had to do the show to be cool.
Yeah.
And then it just became this insane. Like, we would do shows at places, and people would be like, dude, we're doing New York City. We're doing New Year's Eve numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how big it was. But I wasn't making money. And then I just felt like we went out, we were doing fucking Vegas and doing it with that fucking asshole. And he was triple dipping on me. And I'm like, it had its run. It was great. So then, like, I kind of outgrew it. But then I love the brand name, the Naughty Show.
Yeah.
So, Dana, my girl and my co-producer, she got a call from a guy who wanted to do a show downtown, and like, he's British, and his girlfriend's like, we want a filthy, nasty show. Just get nasty. 30-year-old chicks who've got frisky beavers. They're like, nasty, get nasty. We want to get nasty. And so we started doing Naughty Show. We did it once, and it was a huge success. So we're going to bring it back and start doing it once a month. My new thing is, like, if you want my show, I'll do it. You have to promote it, because I have the Comedy Chaos at the Comedy Store, and it's like, dude, we did a show the other night it went Russell Peters opening, Chris D'Elia, Anthony Jeselnik, Dick Appington, Sam Morrell, Kelsey Cook, and it was just like, it was literally a fucking, like, it was a fucking festival line.
It's awesome.
And I was like, people got to do $20.
Yeah, that's the crazy. And I know I was looking at it. I was so happy for you, because you sold out. Like, how many in a row has it been?
Well, there's not row. It's not in a row, but we've had 51 sellouts.
Yeah.
And, like, Dana the other day was looking at the lineups we used to do at the Comedy Store, and it was like Joey Diaz, Joe Rogan, Chris D'Elia, Russell Peters, and it was like, now you're lucky if you can get one of those guys on the show, because it's so insane now. And, it's like, listen, dude, it is the greatest time ever to do comedy.
Yeah, no, it's
the greatest time ever. And, you know, regardless of what anybody thinks of, you know, the president or whatever, I see political correctness dying right now. And it's the emperor's new clothes. And so, you know, it's like I get asked to do television shows all the time, and I won't do them anymore. I will never be put – they put Shane Gillison or a bunch of fucking millionaire actors can act like they're being oppressed and fucking job of a fucking struggle. They want to connect with their base by acting like the word chink is like this horrible thing from 150 years ago. I'll never do that. I say the N word. I say the F word. I say every word 1,000 fucking times. And that's what I tell people come up to me. I go, hey, dude, just let you. I fucking let the M bomb flow just because I'm told that I can't do that. And I'm so sick and tired of words having more power than actions. I'm over it.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. It's you've always been
I have my own
fearless.
pirate ship now, dude. That's the key to everything. Build your YouTube, build your podcast, and they'll never be able to do. I have no desire. Like Comedy Central has been ran into the fucking ground by unfunny motherfuckers who I used to watch do comedy and bomb on stage. And now they decide what is comedy. They've literally made, like, you actually feel bad for people now when they get Comedy Central specials.
Yeah.
You're like, no one's going to see your hard work in the last 3 years. Congratulations. Oh, you get it back in 2 years? Good for you.
Yeah. No, it's I love it. That pirate ship is what I've been telling my girlfriend forever. And I heard Rogan say it. I've heard you say it. It's a way to do it, man.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, dude. Whatever happened in my life, I used to have this one podcast called the International Bad Boys Hour. I love it. I would probably do it again down the line, but me and the guy had a falling out where since gone back to being best friends. But we had a falling out, and it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me because I decided, you know, I was always in the political and conspiracies and all that shit, and you know, Hillary Clinton's lizard ass was like hijacking the fucking primaries from Bernie, who I was a huge supporter of at the time. And I decided to start talking about it. And I said, you know what, dude? What is the fucking term that is the most demonized? Sort of, you know, because it's kind of like NWA, where they took the N word and owned it. So I was like, I go tinfoil hat, and I just ran with it. And it just like people told me like at the beginning of the time, it was like, that's the worst name ever. No one's going to want to do your show. And like, now it's like why people listen to it because they're trying to find a new podcast. Oh, tinfoil hat. They know exactly what it is. And it's just blowing up. So the blessings are that my best friend, one of my best friends in life is Eddie Bravo. He's a big he's kind of known as the conspiracy theorist. And, you know, he came up with the idea of doing a tinfoil hat comedy tour. And, you know, we're going anywhere. We're putting 200 people into a room, which 2 years ago, I would have been happy with 20 people in a room, you know, so and it slowly grows. And I can't complain. You know, it's just a blessing, dude. It's like,
well, no,
build your youth.
Dude, you earned it. You have worked your ass off from the day I met you. So I'm so happy for you, man. I see the tinfoil. I see it climbing up the charts every week. So I'm like, this is fucking great. It's what I always say. I say on here a lot. There's guys that I root for, and you're definitely a guy I root for. And there's some people, I don't say it too much, but there's some people I definitely root against. So you're one of the ones I root for sure. So I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you, dude. I root for you too. Your fearlessness.
All right,
your storytelling's great. Your fearlessness on stage.
I'm trying, man.
I don't know how you're not on trial for trying to murder your father, but hey, dude. God bless your legal team. That's all I can say.
It's what the statute of limitations is what I'm hoping on. But I love you, buddy, man. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're busy, and thanks for doing this, man.
Anytime, all the time. And when you're in LA, let me know. I'll put you on my show.
Okay, sounds good, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, bud.
See you, bud.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.